Tell me, though, what's his technique? That last strike, it seems invincible.
Hello and welcome to Sons of the Dragon, the Immortal Iron Fist podcast. My name's Connor McKenna.
I'm Rebecca Hart.
I nearly got my intros mixed up. Recorded 3 times today, including today, so it's a wild ride, baby. So we're back after episode 100. Thanks everyone for your emails and feedback. LOL. For 100. And we're back to covering Contagion. So Contagion 4 came out this week, but we're just going to be covering 2 and 3 today, or tonight.
Yeah.
And next week we'll be doing 4 and 5, which will finish off the event. So yeah, because it's weekly, so, you know.
Yes, it's all be done by Halloween.
Yeah.
Just.
And then after that we'll be moving on to the Iron Fist portions of the Lethal Protectors tie-in event for Absolute Carnage.
Yeah. Because, in case anyone doesn't know it, this week's issue was fairly Iron Fist heavy.
Yeah.
So, get it if you're not getting it and you're collecting Iron Fist stuff.
Which is good news, so, yeah.
Yeah.
And
we'll do our best not to spoil anything.
Yes, because...
But, we're one issue ahead of Contagion, and we've read the Absolute Solo. I'm going to try really hard, and apologies if anything slips through, but it won't be big.
Yeah. Yeah, because not much really happens in issue 4 anyway, so... aside from... There's, a plan, but we won't spoil the plan.
No.
And other than that, nothing really happens,
Yeah.
so... Contagion 2, awesome cover, classic Power Man and Iron Fist, taking it to the streets again, except instead of robots or just general thugs, they're fighting zombies.
I don't know, I think Danny's got a really weird waist twist there. It's like the fact you can see his waist and his butt in the same shot. It's very disconcerting.
And that's another cover ruin for me. So you guys notice weird things that I never really pick up on these covers.
Okay, it's only because I'm staring at it now. Generally, if I'm looking at it from a distance, I don't see it so much. But it looks like a really weird twist.
Yeah, I'm
he's doing.
staring now. So yeah.
You see what I mean?
Thanks for that.
So you can always count on me to look at the butts.
Yeah. But they're on Yancey Street, fighting, zombies or infected
Contagion
people. Yeah. So yeah, we cut to Danny and Sparrow are on the streets after she probably told him that, hey, crazy Kunlun apocalypse happening. So they've taken to the streets. They've started beating up zombies.
Yeah.
As you do. I think the art's quite good here. I like. Yeah.
Danny's back in a massive collar.
Definitely massive collar, pointy as well, but it looks alien.
Super
which is
pointy.
Nice, to Kunlun's. Yeah. Man, give Iron Fist an ongoing. Do it. I want to read more about, Iron Fist is finally the proper champion of Kunlun now. Let's have a series where he's doing his job and protecting Kunlun from threats and stuff. That'd be cool.
Let's do it.
And he reports to Sparrow because she's like the UT. She's like, "You doing your job?" Yep. There's no zombies to bear in Kunlun today. So, poor Lei Kung though, right?
Right, I miss him.
I kind of thought he was going to come back, right? But
yeah,
no.
But
he had
at least it's moving on. So
yeah, he had a good run.
Yeah.
I guess it's kind of not like the bigger characters.
It doesn't feel like a shoehorn change. It feels like, you miss the old character, but I sometimes think it's better not to sort of keep them going if you want to move on.
Yeah,
if you can't change too much status quo with the main characters, then doing it around some of their surrounding cast is fine. And I really like Sparrow, so that helps. If it had just been someone I didn't, or was just exactly the same as Lei Kung, but then I think I'd be like, why bother?
Yeah.
But I think they established her enough for you to like her.
Yeah.
Before it all went down, so.
Brisson's made her even more likable with his run.
Definitely, yeah. I think
Um,
he's done really good things for Iron Fist. So
He has, yeah. We owe Brisson a debt, and now he is hopefully going to do the same thing for all those flameheads out there.
yeah, yeah.
Who, I wasn't huge on the first issue of Ghost Rider, but like Ghost Rider fans are really big on that issue. So
Okay, good, because I like him a lot, and I think he's, like I said, I think he's done great things for Iron Fist. So I'm glad to hear it.
yeah, specifically because obviously I'm a Ghost Rider fan, but specifically like on the Danny Ketch side of things.
Yeah.
They're doing a lot with that, which is good. I was a bit lost, so, you know. Yeah, I like how the Iron Fist mythos is developing. He's not like a lot of other big two characters that kind of have a sort of hovering status quo that seems to revert itself a lot.
Yeah, I mean, he did for a while, but I like that now it's moving on and trying to sort of get him back to a place where they can use him and he can keep going and he's not just Luke's sidekick or...
Yeah, and as long as he stays the Iron Fist, because,
Yeah.
I don't want to lose Danny Rand.
I don't want to lose him either. I can see a time where I could, but I don't know. I think he's still got a lot of life in him in terms of character and stuff. And, having him mentoring Pei is quite a nice... I like her as well, so I want them to develop more before we ever lost him.
Yeah, and I mean, but the big reason I like Iron Fist, I like the mythos, but without Danny Rand, I probably wouldn't read it.
I think it's always hard. I mean, I don't like the characters being stuck in stasis for too long. To the point where I go why aren't they aging?
But they are superheroes,
No, they are, and that's what I'm saying. It can happen 30 odd years down the line, but I think he's at a point. I mean, I think he's got a lot more life in him before I ever started to worry about that.
Yeah, I mean,
But
if
I could
there's
see it
two
happening
Iron
eventually,
Fists,
but yeah.
Yeah, I can see it happening, which worries me. But if there's two Iron Fists, it's fine. I just don't want to get killed off.
I don't
if some
think we should,
writer
worry
decides
about
to.
things before it happens.
That's what worrying is.
Well, but maybe usually it's got some indication that it would happen. I don't
Yeah,
think we should worry about it too much.
We're in tumultuous times. I don't want some writer who comes along who doesn't like Danny just killing him off so they can put in another Iron Fist. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's fair, but we'd have to get an Iron Fist comic first. So I think baby steps. When they announce an Iron Fist comic with someone that I don't like writing it, then maybe I'll start worrying.
Yeah.
And not if they announce one with someone I don't like writing it. It makes it sound like I assume whoever's going to be writing it is somebody I won't like. So I'm just sort of putting out that the language was a bit off there. So if they announce one with somebody I hated writing it or didn't trust, then I would have concerns about that. But right now, I think there's no signs that they the fact they had the comic with him and Pei.
And he didn't get replaced.
And he didn't get replaced. Yeah. I mean, I think that they at least would like her to become an adult, which gives him quite a while.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm coming off Last Sons of Krypton, where Superman's son has been aged up considerably in a short amount of time and is replacing him as Superman.
Right, so if Bendis started writing Iron Fist, I'd start having
Oh my god.
I'm just saying.
I'd have to start taking blood pressure medication.
So I'm saying about writers I don't fully trust. But until they announce a team, then, because there are writers I would definitely have concerns over.
Brisson's not one of them.
No, Brisson's not one of them. And there's very few. I mean, and I hope that should always be the way. There's only one or two that would be a big red flag. Yeah. But I could see a time where there would be one that if one came on who was a big red flag, then I'd be totally up with you worrying about it. But I think stage one is get an Iron Fist comic announced.
Yeah.
Staged or a team where he's in that's got a regular comic. Stage two would be who's the creative team and go from that.
I'd write Iron Fist. I'm just saying.
Right, but you have to be a writer first.
I write stuff. I don't have published works.
Okay, but you know what I mean.
If I was offered to write Iron Fist or Superman, I would probably choose Iron Fist.
Really? good.
Really? No, I would. I've thought about this a lot. There are stories of, like, there's a lot of good Superman stories. If I tell a Superman story, I'm not confident that I'm going to be like, but if I tell an Iron Fist story, there's specific stuff I want to do with Iron Fist. Like, if I wrote a Superman story, I would just write a horror story. So, but yeah. I'd like to write an Iron Fist.
You could write a horror story for Superman.
Yeah, it'd be awesome, but,
Of course.
Maybe I can write both, right?
Yeah.
That'll happen.
Do both. Why limit yourself?
That'll totally happen. How'd you feel about Tom King on Iron Fist?
Well, number one, he's DC exclusive.
Oh, well, this is obviously...
Can I sidestep that issue?
Okay.
I would be tentatively okay.
Yeah, I think it'd be a good fit, honestly.
Although because he's very bad at writing women, in my opinion, and therefore would probably steer clear from at least the replacement issue. But I would have concerns about a few things.
Yeah?
Yeah. I don't think his dialogue is always great. And it's very repetitive. And I don't think he'd want to write Iron Fist, so I'm actually not worried. But if he did, I'd read
it's
it a
obviously
little bit.
hypothetical. Like, the only Tom King I've read is one really bad Christmas special, one really good Superman short, and Heroes in Crisis, which is pretty awful. Oh, and that good Green Lantern story, actually. So, man, like, 50-50 split for me, for his writing.
Like, I've read Sheriff of Babylon, Omega Men, Vision, loved.
So a lot.
Grayson, loved. I hated his Christmas story that he won the Eisner for. I've loved some of his Batman, and I've hated some of his Batman. I hated what I read of Heroes in Crisis, and Miracle Man, I'm literally down the middle of the road with. Yeah. I loved some of it, and I hated some of it, and I thought the pacing was bad. But it was interesting to a certain point. So yeah, I'm not a King hater. I find the stuff I've liked of his as being the furthest in the past.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? So I have concerns going forward because I don't seem to be gelling as much with what he's writing now as what he was writing 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So any new announcement, and I'll probably, have a look at Adam Strange, but I'll possibly just trade by it. So it's not that I would never discount him because some of the stuff he's written is some of my favourite stuff. Luckily it is totally hypothetical because he's DC.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people who would write Iron Fist are like Iron Fist fans already. Like obviously Brisson was and stuff. I guess in recent memory the person like Clay McLeod Chapman was new to the character when he wrote him, but I think he's like the only person I can think of that was new. And he still did a good job with the character anyway.
He did a great job, yeah.
In fact, I would take him writing an Iron Fist thing, but it would obviously be totally. Horror.
Well, I think there's lots of people that we would like to see do it. I was just thinking on the other side, like who would be, and I don't really know if I want to name people that I'd be worried about because it seems a bit of a shitty thing to do.
Well, I did that on Last Sons of Krypton. Like who I don't want on Superman.
Well, it's fair enough. It's just like I think it's because Superman's always going to be an ongoing title.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say that you're wrong to do that. It's just there's always going to be a Superman comic. I'm just saying, like before I start worrying what's happening with Iron Fist, I'll see what's happening with Iron Fist. So I'll see if there's a comic.
No, that makes sense. Yeah. You know me, I worry a lot about hypothetical things, which always come true. No.
Well, that's the other thing, is like once you sort of speak them into existence.
Yeah.
I'm unwilling to do that with Iron Fist. I honestly think he's safe as Danny for quite a while.
I'm glad.
No.
That you think that, because it gives me hope too. But anyway, back to the issue, off that big tangent, which was started by me, and I continued to feed it as well. So Ever-Loving Blue-Eyed Thing comes out of the subway carrying the other members of the Fantastic Four who have all, like, spores growing out of them. Because Danny's like, we need to find, like,
Oh,
I
yeah,
can't.
he's like, we have to take them to read. And he's like, no.
It's like, I can't beat this by punching. This is like a weird
Yeah.
virus. So, yeah, Reed's incapacitated, and we find out the name of patient 0 is the Urchin.
Yes, and we find out, is this where we find out more about him?
We don't. I don't think
No,
we.
not yet.
Oh, we find out more about. Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Holy doodle! Look at Iron Fist's collar in that bottom panel.
I know.
it's a symbiote. It feels like it's gonna go haywire and start stabbing people.
It should. It wants to.
Yeah. In fact, what Mr. Chapman said, they should totally do like an Iron Fist tie-in in Absolute Carnage, where it turns out his suit is a symbiote. Like, why
Maybe,
not, right?
but I think because there's a lot going on in Absolute Carnage.
Yeah, I've gathered everyone's
There's so
been
many
raving about that.
tie-ins. There's just a lot of tie-ins and stuff, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. So, the thing's telling them Sparrow and Iron Fist just to stay there and keep an eye out for the Urchin, and the thing's gone off to get more help.
Yeah. And then you see some of the civilian reaction, the people being sent off to hospital.
You know what's funny?
Go on.
Sorry. Danny's like, please tell me you've got hazmat suits on those ambulances.
Yeah.
So Danny knows that they should wear hazmat suits, but not Reed Richards.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, Danny has just had it a little bit explained to him, but Reed should have been wearing one anyway. So
Totally, yeah.
Yeah, so you see it in hospital, and you see one of the girls, no, a guy, has got a bit of the contagion on them. So even though they think they're safe, the hospital's about to go.
Oh, it's about to get wrecked.
Yeah, it's about to get wrecked. And then we have a fun scene. Jessica and Luke in bed, and it's 3 a.m. and the phone goes.
Yeah, you know who's calling at 3 a.m.? The only person who ever calls you at 3 a.m.
Yeah, which is such a nice interaction. Because she's not mad, but she does say, like, oh, but he does say it better be a matter of life or death, Danny. Like, he knows. He answers the phone and says, Danny, this better be a matter of life or death.
Yeah.
And I like that kind of, like, she's not mad, which is, like, is a nice continuation of that characterization that she's kind of cool, you know, from that moment where she was mad at him. And Danny's like, would I call you at 3 a.m. if it wasn't a matter of life or death? And Luke's like, yeah.
Yeah, Misty won't talk to me.
Yeah, no, when he wanted a taco but didn't want to eat alone.
Yeah. So, aside from Danny needing more friends, where are the immortal weapons?
Good question.
It's a question we ask like every Iron Fist run after.
Yeah.
Because they're there and they're just not used.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Danny's given the lowdown. Hey, Fantastic Four are being taken out by some weird virus. It's spreading through all of Manhattan. Needs backup, so he calls Luke Cage.
And that's where Luke's properly awake. The minute he says it's taken out the better-looking 3 members of the Fantastic Four.
Wow.
That's the kind of quipping I like from Danny.
I think it's
In
kind
the
of
same
mean,
as-
but
No, I think it's really funny. I think it's quite funny. But it's the same as like with Luke teasing him about the 3 a.m. phone calls. It's kind of bantery nice.
yeah.
It's not sort of trying to be Spider-Man banter.
So Luke's run off, and
He puts his shirt on, so we still get shirtless Luke.
she's like, hey, this seems to be about the Fantastic Four, I'm coming with you. And Luke's like, no, watch out.
You're going to stay home and look after the child. Oh, Luke, you're so liberated.
Well, Luke's the one who got called, so...
To be fair, Luke's probably slightly better in a hand-to-hand situation because of his impervious skin.
I mean, who's, like... Obviously, he's, like, more invulnerable than her, but I'm assuming he's stronger than her as well.
He is. He's stronger than her, but she also can fly a bit, or hover.
Yeah, her weird sort of undefined power
Yeah.
set. So Doctor Strange is there with trying to one-up Danny on his collar.
His collar's fantastic too.
This is why we need a Doctor Strange and Iron Fist team book. Just like
See, that would be great, and like their cloaks could fight, their collars could fight. It'd be
every
amazing.
issue, like the collars just grow bigger.
Yeah. Or change shape. Like they're trying a new stupid outfit.
So he's examining them. He's ancient magic. It's spread through their bodies, through their organs. It's trying to use them as a food source, maybe. And he's saying if he tries to remove it, it will kill them in the process. So, super virus. And so he says Doctor Strange says he's familiar with Kunlun mysticism, but this doesn't line up with anything he's seen, and it seems older than Kunlun itself, which is like, adds to the mystery. So like we know the Hylithi or whatever are older than the city of Kunlun, but like I'm assuming he considers them a part of Kunlun because he's interacted with them before.
I imagine he at least knows they're connected.
And Mr. Bristol's been pretty good with continuity, so...
Can I just say one thing? Going back to your Doctor Strange Iron Fist team-up, we could totally deal with the IF Agamotto thing.
Yes, first arc. Hey, you might still be possessed.
Yeah.
I just kind of forgot to bring it up in all these, interim years.
To be fair, they're always fighting a baddie, so,
Well, and the white costume is when, the white costume meant he was possessed, if you remember. Yeah. So maybe once he's ditched the white costume, he's not possessed anymore.
Yeah, maybe.
This is why they need me. Look, we need to get some of my writings published, which are about to be written. Let
me tell you all about the places where fanfic is published.
Oh, no.
Very popular.
Yeah.
Won a Hugo Award this year, so...
Wait, really?
Yep.
Wow. So,
anyway, so
vomiting, splort.
He's got the not in stasis, but he's got the bodies kind of, so he's not being infected by them somehow. But anyway, and go back to Yancey Street, and they are in hazmat suits, not the supers, the norms. Yeah, and they are evacuating the area.
And Doctor Strange mentioned he needs a sample of fungus from the host.
Yeah. And he also says he'll call the Avengers along the way.
Yeah.
Because you've got to wonder, why haven't they called... I mean, they talk about calling the Avengers, but this is the first time we've actually had somebody say, I'm going to do it now.
Yeah.
And it's interesting what happens with that. So, but anyway, one of the guys in the hazmat suit comes across someone who's infected.
He's like, oh, crap. That guy in the hazmat suit's me. If I was in this event. Yeah. And he's infected or eaten. I don't know. And his collar is getting
twitching.
Yeah.
His spidey senses tingling.
Did you hear that? I got ears, don't I? It's just this huge scream.
So Sparrow knows it's the urchin, and Luke, Danny, and Sparrow run off to. And here you get the brief summary of who he is. It was a living weapon created by the Hill-3, I'm going to say. I have no idea how they're pronounced. To wipe out our people when we first settled in Kunlun. So whenever Kunlun first got settled, the plant people created a living weapon.
If they weren't happy, and they're still not happy that Kunlun got settled.
Who would be happy, really?
That's true, but it's not like it's a big chunk of...
No, and also they seem to thrive all right with Kunlun there. So it's not like they've been... But who knows?
But they're also evil.
It is a colonialist story in part. Yeah, they are also.
Swamp Thing crossover. He needs to commune with them. Tell them to chill out.
We can have Man-Thing. Have you seen Man-Thing's turning into manslaughter next year?
Wait, really?
I don't want to think of... Yeah. It's like, of all the new things that got announced, manslaughter is making me giggle every time. It's terrible. God. I'm sure it'll be fantastic. Everyone into Man-Thing. Big Gun and Man-Thing. Beautiful. It will always make me giggle. Sorry.
Well, I'm happy that a lesser character's getting some love.
Always, but yeah. I mean, and you know what? Sometimes we laugh at these things, and they actually end up being great.
Yeah.
So I'm not. It does make me giggle, but I'm not saying it can't be good.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, if you are a fan of it, then it's pretty exciting that he's going to be up front and center of something.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're running around the subway, right?
Oh, yeah, and I'm just wondering, because Doctor Strange, he says it's older than Kunlun, and she said, first settled Kunlun, so maybe Kunlun's referring to the city, so if it's older than Kunlun, maybe it's planet people. I don't know, but we will find out next week, which will be nice, you know. But yeah, we're at the Avengers Mountain in the North Pole, so that's a thing now, apparently. Because obviously I do not keep track of Avengers at all, so now they're on like a mountain in the North Pole. Hey, that's Superman's home.
I don't know if it's in the North Pole, but it's definitely in a mountain. Oh, it does say the North Pole. Yeah, they're definitely in a mountain now.
So they got Superman to the right and Santa Claus to the left.
They took down a Celestial, and they're kind of living in its body, in its head.
It looks pretty frozen.
Yeah. Because it's in the North Pole, but that's where they happen to take it down. So.
Yeah. So here are the Avengers, the A-list heavy hitters. You know, I mean, like, well, Fantastic Four are as heavy hitters, and you know, Danny can certainly be classified. You know, like if he was popular, he'd easily be justifiably on the Avengers, if you know what I mean.
Well, he has been before, so
that's true. I mean, everyone has.
Yeah. So I'm saying is the other interesting thing is that they are this Avengers run. They're keeping a certain core, and they're bringing they're bringing guests for like arcs. So they've had Blade is currently there with them, but before that it was someone else. So I mean, it's not inconceivable that Danny will be there at some point.
Yeah. Because I guess we talked about it a bit last issue, so like some of these D-lister heroes, you know, they are powerful enough to tangle in the big events, but they just don't because, you know, they're D-list heroes, so... where was I? Oh, yeah, so Doctor Strange is filling them in, and he's essentially just keeping them up to date.
And they're like saying they want to come, and they were like, no, you shouldn't come because
that'd be a bad idea. We don't need Thor running around.
The idea of you guys being absorbed by him, not good. Yeah. So at least we do get some brains here and a decent reason why the Avengers can't be on the streets fighting, because you know, like for all we say, you know, Danny is really powerful, but like if they had, you know, if Captain Marvel and Thor and Black Panther get zapped.
Well, Thor's a god, so that would be good for anyone.
And Captain Marvel's like power level.
Yeah, cosmic.
Godlike. So I mean.
Plus, they can't do anything. They're not. But the nice this thing is like a mystic job.
They do say, well, Tony, go help with this sort of tech stuff, and you know, see if we can find some of the. So that's kind of good. It's not like they're all like just going to sit there doing. Sorry for the swearing.
That's more editing for me.
Sorry, that's why I'm saying sorry. Sorry. They're not sitting there doing nothing at all. But Tony's going to put some satellites out. He's going to see if they can find a heat signature to do support that way.
Yeah.
So I quite like that because it's like often you see characters kind of rushing into things like we've seen with the Fantastic Four
and getting infected.
And this is kind of sensible. Like, no, we've seen it happen once. Please, let's not again.
Yeah. So we cut to the streets, Yancey Street. Yep, and there's just a big brawl going on. Power Man and Iron Fist and Sparrow are taking on a bunch of gross, fungi people. It's one of my favorite type of virus infections. Is like the gross fungus stuff because it's, you know, gross.
I like all the puking and spores and Doctor Strange is going to put a barrier up, which seems to be the first thing he should have done. And they say they need Ben to knock out the urchin so they can get a sample. Yeah. And we get a lovely "it's clobbering time."
I love that thing is in this a lot because he's made of rock, so.
Yeah, it makes total sense.
Yeah,
perfect.
He's cool.
I love that he's wearing boots as well.
So. I remember in Marvel, the old Marvel Heroes game, which is kind of like the online Diablo game. I played it a lot, and like the thing default costume was just kind of wearing underpants, kind of like this, just shorts.
Yeah.
And like you had random boxes where you could get like a random costume, and one of the things costume was just like these long pants. It was
Yeah.
like an urban legend that like the Thing pants are like the highest drop rate. And like you always got Thing pants like every 1 in 3 boxes. It was really annoying. You
That's
just had so many
funny.
Thing pants running around. It's like it's not even a good costume. They're just long pants. So yeah. Anyway,
But he goes to clobber him, and instead he gets punched
Yeah.
by the urchin, and who takes down the Thing, but in terms of like knocking him down, not as in actually taking him
yeah.
out.
So we got Cloak and Dagger coming on the scene.
Yep.
Rest and Pepperoni TV show. I feel bad for fans of Cloak and Dagger. Hopefully it doesn't end
Which
on a
it was
cliffhanger.
actually a really good show. So do you know what, everyone? I was pleasantly surprised by it. If you
So-
like Cloak and, it's quite a different take on it, but I think they did it really well.
Yeah. I just hope it doesn't end on a cliffhanger and they get some closure.
Yeah, I hope they don't either. Especially after they had the nice crossover with the Runaways TV show,
Okay.
which is pretty cool. So, but yeah, so Cloak and Dagger come, hooray!
Yeah. And
Haven't seen them in a while either, so
there's a barrier, and Cloak absorbs the urchin, and
Yep.
we can all figure out what's gonna happen next.
yeah.
Well, I
No,
mean,
it was a pretty decent plan.
yeah. Cloak does job though.
Yeah.
But before that happens, Doctor Strange's like, we have to figure out how to undo everything the urchin has done. We need to get Cloak back to the Sanctum Sanctorum to safely extract him.
Yeah.
And the other 4 are going to stay there to keep everything clear. And Sparrow go with, he wants her insight on Kunlun and stuff like that. But, blah,
Yeah, Cloak can't hold it in, and out comes the urchin, and he grabs Cloak and Luke by the throats.
Yep, so Luke
And
is...
you know what's happened now.
And
Ba-ba-ba.
Luke gets infected, which I did see coming.
Yeah.
He's calling up Luke. It's like, well, there's the tank of the group is going to get infected now. And the previous Iron Fist, the Phantom Limb, he got infected in that too. Well, that was grosser, I guess. But
Yeah.
when you think about it, like when Power Man drags Iron Fist into stuff, yeah, it's hectic. But when Iron Fist drags Power Man into stuff, like some horrible things start happening.
Yeah.
He's had to go to Kunlun. He's been possessed through the mouth by a demon. Now he's like infected by a fungal virus.
But it's a nice differential between the Thing and Luke, and who are both these impervious skin guys, but because the Thing is rock, it doesn't work with him, but it does with it. It's another of those, like when we talk about it quite often actually, about all the ways that you can take Luke out or damage Luke without actually penetrating his skin, and here's another one coming
Judas
into play.
bullets.
Yeah. Oh, please, let's not.
Yeah.
And he also goes for Strange.
Yeah, and he gets Strange.
Yeah. So you got some fair
mid-casting a
power
spell.
in there.
Yeah.
And as Danny says on the final page,
This is bad.
This is bad. And I love this seems like a real sort of 70s comic thing, right? He's right. Find out just how bad next week. I love it. It's like, it's so much nicer than to be continued.
Yeah.
To like reference what the characters actually said.
Well, so, oh, sorry, go on.
No, I was just saying, we haven't really mentioned the art in the issue much, and it is very good.
Yeah.
So, we've talked a lot about collars and cloaks, but even Cloak has Dagger has quite a nice little collar going on there a bit earlier on.
Yeah.
She can maybe be invited to the collar off.
So, I feel like, I don't know if Doctor Strange would get infected that easily, but it wasn't as bad as, like, the Fantastic Four thing.
Yes. And
I'm just saying that because Doctor
kind of
Strange
thought-
is
this
brokenly
time round
overpowered.
They thought, yeah. Well, they thought that Cloak could contain the risk at least.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So that was issue 2. I really enjoyed issue 2.
Yep. Definitely moving it along. We got the actual origin from Sparrow. Everyone's still being useful. Love the interaction.
Out of the 4 issues so far, I'd say it's my favourite.
Agreed. I think it's that perfect spot in the story.
Yeah. Artwork's really great as well.
Yeah.
you know. And like, I guess Doctor Strange is like, yeah, you know, may as well take him out because he's super powerful, but I don't know, I think you could have gotten away with. But I guess Ed Brisson did want to bring in a certain character, which we will see next issue, I guess, so which may require Doctor Strange to be off the table. Now, people might be wondering why I am so hard on Deceased, but I'm not hard on this. That's because, like, Deceased is trying to be, like, this kind of deep art, like, book that's trying to come off as art and stuff, and it's taking itself very seriously, but this is, like, it's taking itself seriously, but it's a lot more fun.
I think, for me, it's, like, from what I've read of Deceased, which was the first issue, and from, like, what I've seen people talking about it, is, well, I tell you what put me off Deceased, it was actually some of the narrative on Twitter, some of the marketing was like, ooh, guess who's going to die next? And it's just like, I'm so sick of guess who's going to die next now. You know, like, that's how you sell a book. Because to me, it's like, you know, I don't know, it just seems a bit grabby.
Yeah.
And it's just that nobody thought Contagion was going to be much. Most people went, ugh, zombies. And it's just been fun. It's just a nice little, and nothing seems to be like, okay, the Fantastic Four going straight in at the
That's
fight.
the biggest one,
It's the biggest, like, oh my, you know, why? But it doesn't really matter because it's like we hand wave those kinds of things in comics all the time.
And it's going to be undone.
Part of the setup. And it was done straight away as part of the setup.
Yeah.
So it's just like, and because you need the Thing involved. And if you're going to get the Thing involved, you know the first people he's going to call is the Fantastic Four.
Yeah. And, like, it's going to be undone anyway, because this is in canon, so...
Of course.
Yeah, and, like, DC takes itself so seriously.
It's very serious.
Especially
very
for what it
hierarchy.
is.
Yeah.
And, you know, and this is also giving... Like, it's also predictable, Deceased, whereas this is giving... well, except for... minor spoilers, do you mind?
I don't mind, no.
Okay, well, Batman getting taken out in, like, the second issue was the biggest surprise Deceased had. That's, like, the only surprise it's had. But, like, you know, this also just... It's like, yeah, it's a horror miniseries at zombies,
I also think
but...
the fact that Deceased is an alternate universe just takes a lot of the stakes away for me, because, like you said, if Batman gets taken out, I'm like, yeah, but it's not Batman in the universe I'd be reading, so...
I'm glad it's not the main universe.
No, but you know what I mean? So it's just like, yeah, so, alright.
But
it's not mine. But yeah, this one is fun.
For a lot of fans of the characters in Contagion as well, because, like, you know, we got like, the B to D-list party going on here, and it's just, ignore the fact that it's a zombie story, it's just a nice mini event with these characters, and we get to see them do stuff, you know? Like, even if it wasn't a zombie story, it's just nice to have well-written, you know, our characters in, like, well-written dialogue and stuff, and just seeing them do stuff, because a lot of these guys don't have books.
Yeah, exactly. I think that is one of the things I really like about it, is pulling together people who aren't being seen a lot right now.
Yeah, like, you know, yeah, it's a Halloween thing, but I don't consider it, like, an equivalent to Marvel Zombies or anything. Sure, it has the infection storyline, but I'm just enjoying this event.
It doesn't read like horror at all.
No. Well, I mean... I'm just looking at the first page of this next issue.
Some of the art does, but it's not a horror book. Because, like, a lot of the bad guys they fight could be horror characters, but it's more...
Oh, yeah, let's look at Doctor Strange villains.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're right. The first page is straight from horror, having said that, of issue 3. So we see the hospital's been infected, basically, is the nicest way I can describe that. But with fantastic, gruesome horror art. Yeah.
Oh, and the cover, we'll briefly mention too, is Jessica Jones and...
Pay.
Yes. Because I'm always like, I know it's... One of them's, like, completely wrong. But I just keep forgetting which one's completely wrong, but it's Pay. So... Yeah, and she's got a little mini Iron Fist lit up. And Jessica
Mini
Jones.
Iron Fist. She's just small.
Well, yeah, it's a normal Iron Fist, but she's small.
Yeah, and they've got these creepers coming towards them.
Yeah.
Like vines.
Creepers. Yeah. And we have, like, the chick in the hospital bed, and there's, like, just the gross fungal... Yeah,
this time it actually looks like a tree or vines coming out of it. So this is the first kind of almost tree-like aspect.
Well, this is kind of like from a nasty Swamp Thing comic.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. It's absolutely horror.
Yeah.
and then you get to see all around the hospital.
Oh
and
god,
the guy that was the source of it. And you go back to what Danny said, and the little caption is, "This is really, really bad."
like the guy who brought her in and all the stuff coming out of him,
Yeah.
like bubbles, that actually is making my skin crawl.
It's grotesque.
It's really, it triggers that, that kind of phobia with like holes and stuff. It's kind of triggering that in me, which is like, I'm impressed. Good work, but creeping me out there.
Yeah.
And we go back, and the urchin is like using sorcery on them, I think, or trying to.
He's got Doctor Strange, he's got flames going on.
But it's no chance
and
match for Kung Fu, I guess.
Reed stretchy going on. Like, who's it? The thing saying, "Yeah, you keep saying that about being
like,
bad."
am I wrong?
Like, Danny's like, "Am I wrong?" And Sparrow's, "No, I'd agree. You're right."
Yeah.
And yeah, it's clearly like Reed's voice or whoever. Yeah, Reed's voice, coming from the thing, from Urchin saying, "Ben, why are you doing this to us?" So they're trying to like guilt trip him.
Yeah. And this is a different artist, I'm pretty sure.
I think so, yeah.
Because I think issue 2 has really strong art, and like this art's still good. But let's have a look here.
It was great in the hospital, for example. Maybe this action isn't quite as strong.
Okay, so Mark Chater and Steven Segovia are the artists for issue 3. The writer is Ed Brisson. Colorists are Veronica Gandini and Andrew Grossley. Cover artists are Juan Jose Rip and Jesus. No.
Jesus.
Thank you, Abertov. Oh my god. And I'm just going to check the credits for issue 2 real quick. And I'll see if they... Are there credits for issue 2?
There are. They're a few pages in. We should have paused and given them those.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot.
Sorry.
Okay, so the artist... Like, there's 2 artists for issue 2. Issue 3,
right.
Sorry. Issue 3 has 2 artists, issue 2 just had the one. And one of them is the same artist. But yeah. I guess it's a weekly book, so...
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I was reading Stumptown the other day, the Greg Rucka thing, and...
Yeah.
Like, at the end of each issue was like a long interview with the artist. And man, he, like... I'm not saying he's bad, but like he took a long time to draw that book. Like he said, like a page or like a panel or something could take him like 1 to 2 days, like of drawing. And I'm just like, wow, this is like a weekly book, you know? But,
for sure.
Yeah, so, fighting, kung fu fighting, zombie fighting, and...
Yeah.
The thing knocked
tried
out
to guilt them, yeah.
the urchin.
Yes, he did, finally.
Yeah,
and when he got too much, and Danny's like, "Dude, I think you just killed it."
Sparrow's saying that he's dead. Like, the thing hit him so hard that he killed him.
Yeah.
And he's worried, the thing's worried that since he killed the urchin...
He may have killed all the people in it.
Yeah, Marvel Universe would be a bit thinner, I guess.
Yeah.
The Avengers are still fine, though.
Just enough time to give Ben a bit of angst. That's a really nice page where they show the smoking part with all the damage, and then Ben just looking really sad.
Yeah.
That's really nice. See, so art-wise, I think, yeah, hit and miss, but this one's really nice.
Old Man Iron Fist, too. Yeah. They should do, like, old man stories for, like, a bunch of characters.
Funnily enough, somebody was just saying, like, now that, they did Old Man Quill, and somebody was saying, like, who would you like the next one to be?
They did Old Man Quill, really? Huh.
Yeah.
Was it the same universe as Old Man Logan, or just...
I think so, yeah.
Wow.
And also, they did Old Man Hawkeye as well, didn't they?
Yeah. Who died in Old Man Logan.
Yeah, so it made sense, because at least he had a big role in Old Man Logan.
Yeah.
But yeah, they did Quill, and somebody's like, "Oh, who do you think they'll do next?" I wish I had suggested, like, the Thing, because that would actually be very, very cute.
Cute, wow.
I don't know, it's just like, yeah, it's just interesting, because we like to see what happens.
Yeah. Can't remember if you see Iron Fist clothes or anything in Old Man Logan. I don't think you do. I know, like, pretty
No, I
much
don't remember. I haven't read it
Daredevil,
for a
Punisher,
long
Spider-Man are
time.
dead. So, Ben's talking to the Avengers. He's like, well, he got Doctor Strange, and they're just filling him in on the situation. And so Iron Man's coming to Manhattan. Because
Yay.
they need another big brain. Because the previous big brain.
They
Where's
keep being
Spider-Man?
eaten 'cause the other big brains keep being eaten. Look, Spider-Man's doing Spider-Man thing. He's probably
Okay.
tied up with the Carnage event. Well, so's everyone, but like, well, who knows?
I'd ask where Daredevil is, but, Daredevil's probably just, I don't know, doing
Daredevil's
something.
not daredeviling at the moment, so
Oh, okay. Well,
maybe that's
because
why.
Spider-Man's a big brain.
He is, but let's just assume Spider-Man's doing something else. Who knows?
He's trapped in,
Maybe he'll come in another issue and
get infected.
anyway. So then we go to Luke's and Jessica's apartment, and I love this. I love this first panel.
I love how Iron Fist is like, hey, cut it out.
Well, I tell you what I love about the panel is you've got in the background Pei and Danny playing, or Pei watching while Danny's playing with a doll. Then in the near background you have Sparrow with her head in her, with her like hand on her chin, watching Jessica giving Danny a hard time for getting Luke eaten.
Is watching the right term, or?
Well, oh yeah, she has a bandaged arm, but she's clearly, to me, she just looks like she's having fun.
Yeah.
With the, being in on this action. And, like Jessica's like, it's exactly what you would do to someone you knew well. And she's saying, like, you dragged him into this, you know what you're fighting. And he's like, and then they hug, and he looks like he's laughing or smiling at least when he says, I'm sorry. And she's like, I hate you. And Danny's, I hate me too right now. But they're hugging as they say it. So
that's like the other thing is, I'm like, again, I'm bringing up DC's just because a lot of people are comparing them, and I'm like, well, DC, as I said, it's just so, everyone's so much more, like, there's no hugging, there's no good moments in DC's.
Yeah.
Like, there's no moments like this, or like, everything gonna be alright, everyone's like, everyone's dead, everyone's dying. But I'm only bringing up because I'm defending Contagion.
No, I understand that. I just I haven't really read any more of Deceased than that first issue.
Yeah.
It's just like But I really and I also like Jessica's so I think the art steps up in this page because the color's very nice, and even Jessica saying like, Danny, she wants to go see what's happening with Luke. So.
Yeah.
And they carry on the fight, and Luke's like, oh yeah, Pei can stay and watch over Danny, and like Jessica's no.
I don't care if she's a kung fu master. She's she's still a child.
You're watching Danny. Pei's coming with me, and it's like, yeah, Danny, it's probably not a terrible thing to look after the child of your best friend for a second.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I guess Pei can go with Jessica, but
yeah. I like that Danny's grown up a little bit.
What do you mean?
Well, she's not a baby, which she keeps going back between.
Oh,
being a baby
I thought you
and a
meant
toddler.
like Danny is in Danny Rand.
Oh,
I was a bit confused.
Sorry, Danny Cage. Sorry, I forgot they're both. Yeah, I forgot she's named after him. So yeah. Okay, sorry, you're right. I should have been clearer.
It's all good.
And then Jessica goes, Pei, you're coming with us. And she goes, yay, after bedtime adventures are the best.
I think some of this art's a bit weird, specifically Jessica's face.
Danny's in that middle panel. Actually, the line work in the middle panel is rough. So we get one page I like, followed by one page I'm like, yeah, not so great.
I guess the art being a bit inconsistent obviously makes sense because weekly schedule and two artists.
Get a bit of Tony Butts while he's looking in on the bodies and basically telling Ben not to worry.
Yeah. And,
and Tony should know since he's just come back from the dead and so's Rhodey. That,
Wow, I didn't even know he was dead. It's just like, it's kind of funny just like reading these books and just not keeping track of Marvel events because there's always some ridiculous stuff that you get the sense is happening in the background with the characters, but I'm just kind of like, yeah, alright, whatever. It's just another month in the Marvel Universe. People are dead, resurrections. Now mutants are growing out of plants or something. I don't know, whatever.
And here you get Ben, because we forget Ben's also an intelligent guy, saying, can't you just send in some little nanobot things to remove the fungus? You've got the tech. And Tony says, yeah, I do, but I'm not going to use it until I know what I'm dealing with. Because if we try and remove it without knowing the risks,
it could kill them.
It could kill them, and I'm not willing to risk that.
He also gives a little speech about how, they did what anyone would have done, and they all know that when they suit up, it could be the last time. No one knows that better than the Fantastic Four. I'm guessing the Fantastic Four have died before, I'm not sure.
I'm almost certain of it, everyone has.
That's true. Even Danny. Sort of. But anyway.
He was plant food. They needed plant food.
Yeah, they needed him to just, feed them.
Yeah.
That delicious cheese. But, yeah, so apparently the fungus is taking control of them and it's, preserving them.
Yeah.
Wrapped around them from the inside, so it's really covering all their organs and stuff. And he's, Yeah, so Ben didn't kill the urchin, the fungus had already hollowed him out by the time he hit him. So the fungus is using him as a food source.
Yeah.
And, wow, the urchin was infected for a week. It's a long time.
Yeah. But it's good. So
then we, go to the quarantine section in the hospital. Yeah, they just get out of bed and, start walking away. Oh, because I'm guessing that's the new urchin, I suppose. Because it talks. And it starts wandering off, so I'm guessing it's the urchin's new host. Which would actually explain the cover of issue 5.
Yes.
Because we notice, it's a girl on the cover, and this looks like the person that's on that cover, so...
It does a bit, yeah.
I don't think this is anyone in particular. I think it's just a random person.
Yeah, I think it's just a random person as well.
So we get to kind of love-hate character for me.
I think it's I like him. I just didn't always like how he was used.
I was for what it's worth, I was happy to see him show up here.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd see him again. But Ed Brisson really is pulling out all the stops of
having read everything. So.
Yeah. So
we should name him. We're back at
Senor Magico. So Carl's on call at work, so I am sorry he's not here for the return of Senor Magico.
Yeah, because he would, but hopefully he'll be here for the next one. So.
Yeah. And
of course, Danny has taken Danny Cage out with him because he's the least trustworthy babysitter in the business.
He's not a babysitter; he's a champion of Kunlun.
Well, as is being shown, he wasn't very good at babysitting Pei either.
No.
Frankly. So, So you're right, he is a champion of Kunlun, but he did promise to stay with Danny.
Yeah.
So, but he also tells Danny to lie to her mum if she Bless him, though. Many people have been in this situation, but he's thought of something that could help and he wants to do it.
Yeah.
And a phone call wouldn't work.
I mean, I haven't been in this situation, but I'm sure there's fungal apocalypses everywhere.
No, but I mean, but a situation where I don't know, whatever. But yeah, of course, a phone call wouldn't work. But because phone calls are inherently not interesting in comics. So Danny's explaining the situation to Senor Magico, and he's
having a card game.
Strange. He's having a card game, yeah.
With the League of International Magic Practitioners.
Yeah, he says, you're in luck, Danny. I'm pissed. And we get to see the League of International Magic Practitioners.
So are these guys new, or have they been?
I think they are. I don't know. Feel free to get in touch about anything.
Yeah.
But especially
we're wrong.
If we should have known who all these people are. Oh, Carl probably would have known if they're real.
Maybe I need to start talking about how Iron Fist should be white again so we can get some more responses.
Let's carry on. And then Danny points out that their acronym would be LIMP. And Senor Magico's like, maybe I shouldn't help you.
Yeah.
And so Danny withdraws his snark. And tells them what's up. And they go back to Yancey Street, and Jessica and Pei are putting in the punching up guys to get information.
And Sparrow's there too, as well, because she was
Yes.
gonna go with Doctor Strange, but Doctor Strange got infected. So
Punched.
yeah, they're essentially just beating up looters. Because they're actually, yeah, that's right, because she went to see Luke, and there was a bunch of looters there, so, yeah, maybe trying to see Doctor Strange's wallet.
These are clearly the Russian bros from Hawkeye, My Life as a Weapon, because they're using bro a lot. So, if you know Hawkeye, My Life as a Weapon, it seems the people that are being beaten up are the Russian mob guys.
Yeah, and, they're all despairing, you know. Jessica Jones is like, how do we fix this? We can, right? We can fix him, he'll be okay. Don't worry, Jessica Jones, we'll find a way. We always do. And Elektra, the Punisher, and the White Tiger are there, and
Black Tarantula.
And, what are you guys gonna do? Shoot it?
Can we just say that the look on Pei's face when they all arrive is like, oh my god.
I mean, like, that would have been a more effective intro if there was someone who might have an idea of what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, these guys are, like, just a bunch of, like...
They're just a bunch of people who've come to help, and that's all that matters.
If, like, someone, you know, like, I don't know, someone mystical came up, but, you know, whatever. And, like, that's like a real end of the issue shot, but it's not actually the end of the issue.
Right, and it's not the end of the issue, then we get Senor Magico's limp people are setting up a barrier.
Yeah.
Protection barrier.
I'm assuming they use salt or something.
Yeah, because we watch Supernatural, so we're guessing it's salt.
Well, salt's a real thing. Well, quote unquote real thing.
Yeah, of course. I really am assuming it's salt, but it's just a bag of something. I mean, it could be like concrete powder. It's some sort of powder, and it could be white or grey. But they don't say what it is, but we're going to assume salt.
So they cast a spell, and a big barrier comes up around them. Because Magico is like, I'm not that punk Doctor Strange. That overrated hack Doctor Strange. Yeah. And then we have Iron Man flying away from the Sanctum Sanctorum towards a big white light. And he's like, magic.
His armor has
stuff growing
like
out of it.
A bit of contagion.
I'm not going to ask how that works.
I'm not going to ask how it works either.
Maybe, like, is his armor made of metal, or is it actual, like, nanobites or something that could be infected?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure of the new one. I'm sure it has some sort of nano system, but I'm not 100% sure with the current one. Well, I don't know if they discussed it in detail, but...
Either way, he's heading back to Avengers Mountain.
Either way, yeah.
And, so we cut back to Elektra and stuff, and she's like, thanks, it was too late. You know, the thing already beat the monster that caused this, all that stuff. Now it's figuring out how to clean up the mess it made. And then Moon Knight is like, what, I didn't get an invite to join the bargain basement Avengers? I'm insulted. So, you know.
And Jessica's like I told the others, you're too late. Unless you're carrying some sort of gadget to treat these people, there's no one left to punch.
Yeah, and if Moon Knight's like, well, if Ben Grimm punched a bad guy into oblivion, what the hell is the monster currently ripping up Penn Station? And
being hit by the Wrecking Crew.
Yeah, the Wrecking Crew are fighting it, which is interesting. Yeah. To be continued.
So that's the woman from the hospital, spored up.
Yeah.
And, and they're fighting her. And, so we have Moon Knight and the others have entered the building.
Yep.
Hooray for Moon Knight. Listen to the Into the Moon Knight podcast. All I'm saying.
Yeah, Ray's Into the Moon Knight podcast. And next...
mine.
Oh, yes, and yours, sorry.
Shh. Seriously.
It's
Your
late,
bias
okay?
is showing.
This is my third recording today. So next is Contagion 4, and on the cover is Moon Knight with spores growing all over him. It's, I guess, we'll see next week.
Yeah. We shall see what the impact is of that.
Yes. We already know because we've read it.
Yeah, and you probably do if you've read it as well, but if you haven't, then you don't.
Yeah, so yeah, it was good. Not as good as issue 2, but you know, it's still fun. That no one got.
I think it's got a little bit sort of mid-event feel.
Yeah,
There's always a kind of thing, because you've got like issue 1 is always the setup. Issue 2, you're like, hey, we're getting going. Issue 3 is like pause for either everything to go wrong. Issue 4 is like start of the solution.
Yeah.
Issue 5, big fight. And I think it's very much following expected path.
3's still good. 4 lost me a bit, but we'll talk about 4. Well, it didn't lose me. I just think it's the weakest one so far. But like we'll talk about that next week when we talk about it. So that means, yes, there will be an episode next week. We'll be talking about the rest of Contagion. So issues 4 and 5. I quite look forward to how this is going to be resolved.
Yep.
And, you know, I've been enjoying this so far. It's a good event for us guys who like, you know, Iron Fist, Moon Knight, Jessica Jones, Pei, Senor Magico.
Yeah, everyone's getting. It's just people you don't see as much. I mean, but the nice thing is they don't ignore the big hitters, apart from Spider-Man. I mean, like you're right, that is actually a bit of a gap. But they don't like they accept that these other people are around.
Yeah.
You know, and carry on with it.
So yeah, I guess we'll see you next week. Hopefully, all 3 of us. So until next time, don't touch the weird fungal virus. Put a hazmat suit on, and even then, I don't know, man. Just call someone else.
Just stay away from plants.
Yeah.
And don't let Danny babysit.
Yeah. All right. Peace all.
Right. Take care. Bye bye.
Iron Fist and all other characters in these comics are properties of Marvel and Disney. Any music or images we use belong to their respective copyright holders. We do this for fun, so please don't sue us. You can contact us at sonsofthedragonpodcast@gmail.com. Just send us mail, comments, thoughts, anything you want really. Doesn't even have to be related to Iron Fist. If you don't want it read on the air though, make sure you mention that. You can also find us on Facebook, the Immortal Iron Fist Podcast, Sons of the Dragon. Our Twitter, @Iron Fist Podcast. Our SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/Sons of the Dragon, hyphens where the spaces are. Our YouTube, Connor Carl. Just search Iron Fist Podcast and you'll find us real quick. We are also on iTunes. If you find us there, give us a review and rate us. If it's less than 5 stars, please say why so we can improve the show. And we're on Podcast Garden in the literature section. And last but not least, head over to our WordPress, Sons of the Dragon, the Immortal Iron Fist Podcast.wordpress.com. That's where I put all the show notes. I'd like to thank Thomas Tissot for composing the Iron Fist theme song we use at the start of our Iron Fist episodes on the podcast. I'd also like to thank Peter John Sikorsky for composing the Power Man and Iron Fist theme we use at the start of our Power Man and Iron Fist episodes. And finally, thanks to you guys for listening.